coming into your own and doing what you're doing now as far as like expressing yourself through social media? Because like I remember, or not just social media, but through music or the arts in general. Because I remember back then you had started doing music in Japan. ah, If I remember correctly, it's like maybe over 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, so I started doing music in the States, and then I just continued it when I got to Japan.
Okay.
So, like, I came here as a student the first time I was here permanently. And, like, obviously in school you have to do school stuff, but like, I was lucky enough to DJ like events and stuff, and I was trying to, like, do my music as well. But yeah, I'd started doing music like in high school. Like, I was trying to pursue it seriously in high school. My first band called Wing Zero. It was like an electronic hip hop outfit where I produced and I wrote the lyrics, and I had my friend Sai, who would be the DJ for me.
Okay. So then, was there any instruments that you leaned towards to like towards playing during that time?
When I was a kid, I really wanted to play guitar because we were kids in the 90s and like guitar music was everywhere. But I think my ADHD just didn't let me take it on because like my parents bought me a guitar, they bought me a classical guitar, and then they put me in guitar lessons. And like the music I was learning on to play the classical guitar didn't connect with what I wanted to do, and I just couldn't focus on that. So I gave that up. And then I learned like I my mom had my mom's a pianist and well she was a pianist and she was a vocalist and a singer. So we always had pianos and like synthesizers at home. So I toy around on that. But it wasn't until like my parents bought me like this Mixman like not it was like a Mixman like it was like a sample machine that was kind of set up like a fake turntable device. I think it was like a toy actually. I have it in my room actually because I just got it from the States last year. I got it from my mom's attic as it were. But like I used that and that taught me how to use like push button sound manipulation and sampling. And I took to that like a fish to water. Like I was just like, oh hell yeah, bro. So like you could scratch the samples, you could trigger the samples, you could do them like push button effects and whatever, you could affect them. And I took to that and that got me into like learning how to work with samplers and more synthesizers and DAWs like digital audio workstations. So I always say that my best instrument is my laptop and then like the extension of that is like DJ controllers and stuff like that. But I can play keys now, finally. So
Was there one specific genre of music that influenced you more than the other, or was it just music in general just influenced you just to go ahead and just, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get started and start
mm,
producing?
new metal. New metal influenced me like no other. Because
Really?
new metal hit me in puberty. Because like I remember being 12 listening to Korn. And like, when you're like 12, 11, 13, that's when you start listening to music for yourself. And
I
I'm
agree
still a
with that.
product of
Yeah.
my surroundings, and all my surroundings are white kids. So like,
Yeah.
new metal got me into hip hop retroactively. But like the first, like, I remember Korn's first few albums, like Life is Peachy and Follow the Leader, that went off like a bomb culturally in the late 90s. And I remember thinking that like Korn, I remember thinking they were so cool, like the down-tuned guitars. And like I didn't really care for Jonathan Davis that much. Like I didn't give a shit. I was like, well, this is, whatever. But I thought it was cool, but like Head and Monkey and Fieldy, like like the bass players and the bass player, the guitar player,
Yeah.
and like the way they would play the guitars like that, like their guitars, it wasn't like the noodly stuff in metal that you were used to, like the noodly like masturbatory solos, but it was just like groove and like atmosphere and tension. And then Linkin Park came out, and that was like a whole different thing for me because I really also liked Rage Against the Machine, and I liked Rage because Tom Morello's like my favorite guitarist because he plays guitar like a DJ would play guitar. And then, Zach De La Rocha can rap and he's talking about things that matter. But like when you're 12, 13, you're like singing on the guerrilla radio. You have no idea what they're talking about. You're like, yeah, capitalism is bad. What the hell's capitalism? Oh, I don't know, but this rides. But musically, sonically, I loved what Wes Borland was doing on the guitar. And I love that DJ Lethal was taking turntablism in a direction that wasn't just wicka wicka scratching, like like a simple routine. But Linkin Park for me was the band that just opened my eyes to like the sonic texturing that you can do with sampling and layers. And I had this back and forth because I started music as an MC, as a rapper, and I wanted to rap, but I also wanted to like do production and handle samples and make the music sound pretty. And that's what led me to doing like a bunch of like projects where I would produce everything and just like rope one of my friends into being the DJ.
Definitely like those bands you mentioned, like Korn, New Metal, Rage Against the Machine. Those bands, especially Rage Against the Machine, those bands at that definitely them at that time, they were known to be really pivotal in terms of like their lyrical content and being
Yeah.
really edgy. Did
Yeah.
when it comes to you approaching your music, do you feel the need to be edgy?
No, I think for me to go back to Linkin Park, I think when I first heard Mike Shinoda's raps, like I could connect to that because like Mike Shinoda's raps are more about like, the lyrics and even Chester's lyrics as well. The lyrics for the songs are more like self-discovery and like internal conflicts. And later on I would get like heavy into like, what would become like, emo music or like post-hardcore. And those lyrics as well, like, like intrapersonal struggles, but also like struggles with like, like you and somebody else, like intrapersonal and interpersonal struggles. So for me, I would write about that because also at that time, I started getting really heavy into backpack rap. So like I was a huge Tribe Called Quest fan. And like,
Okay, that's what's up.
and I love Tribe Called Quest because they were just rapping for the joy of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I knew I wasn't a gangster. I was like, I'm not a thug, but like I'm not like an anti-capitalist because I don't understand that concept just yet because I'm like 12 or 13. So like
Right.
I want to talk about things that are relevant to me. And as I got older, like, also it was like, love and loss, but also self-doubt and self-discovery. So like Linkin Park helped me to find the direction I wanted to like point my pen in. And then, but also with Tribe Called Quest, sometimes it was just fun to just rap for the fun of it. But I was one of those annoying backpack rappers. I would always like I would carry a thesaurus around and a rhyming dictionary. And
Yeah.
so like like my raps were kind of heady, but only because I liked rhyming suffixes like ology. Like,
Yeah.
I do like a whole 16 rhyming psychology with other ologies. And just be like, all right, Nayo, all right, chill. And then throw in some Japanese. So like because I also got into M-Flow at that time. I was heavy into M-Flow. So the Japanese band M-Flow, I was heavy into them. And like Babalu, the way he would rap in English and Japanese and it connected was great. And then also Lisa could sing in English and Japanese. So like that also influenced me too. I was like, well, I want to do bilingual stuff as well.